Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and Democrats just got a smackdown in federal court. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. And if you're not watching us on YouTube, please check that address in the lower right-hand corner. It's youtube.com/@ExplainAmerica, and hit subscribe absolutely free. It really helps us out. So, Democrats want mail-in ballots to count after Election Day. In other words, Election Day, November 5th, if the ballot comes in November 8th, they still want it to count. Doesn't work that way. It's not constitutional. But during the pandemic, rules were bent to the point of breaking. The Constitution was violated. State constitutions were violated to the point of breaking. And the excuse was, well, it's a pandemic, and, this is just what happens during the pandemic, and I understand that. But Democrats really, in my opinion, took advantage of it to an extreme degree. And I predicted back then, they're not going to let go of these rules. They're going to want these rules to stay in place forever. And I was right. I usually am. I'm sorry. When it comes to politics, I've been watching politics since I'm 10 years old. Following it like some people follow sports. I know politics. I know the Democrat Party. I know they're con men and women. I know they're shysters. I know exactly who they are. And they're dirty, and they play dirty. Well, the state of Mississippi was allowing, believe it or not, Republican state, was allowing ballots to come in after Election Day. They were sued. It went to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, and the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals said, no go. You can't do that. That decision, that's going to have far-reaching effects in a lot of other states as well, especially if there are post-election lawsuits. I want you to watch this story on it, and then let me know what you think in the comments, because part of this story, too, is that Glenn Youngkin of Virginia, he's willing to go all the way to the Supreme Court with another court that is trying to force him to put non-citizens back on the voter rolls after being removed. So like I said, please watch this video. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin is appealing a federal judge's ruling that ordered the Commonwealth to reinstate more than 1,600 alleged non-citizens to its voter rolls. Now, just over a week before the presidential election. CB Cotton is live with the latest on this. Hey, CB.
Hi, Griff. Well, state officials tell Fox they filed an appeal just hours after the judge's ruling, which said Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin's executive order violated federal law, barring large-scale changes to voter rolls so close to an election. Youngkin's executive order, issued in August, required daily checks of DMV data against voter rolls to possibly identify non-citizens. Prior to this, Virginia only did monthly checks, according to a state law passed in 2006. But under the new executive order, Virginia ended up removing more than 1,600 voter registrations from people suspected to be non-citizens. The Department of Justice and a coalition of immigrant rights groups, though, asked for an injunction, arguing that many of these voters were indeed eligible but had made mistakes when registering. The judge siding with them and requiring those people removed to have their voter registrations restored with a written reminder that anyone who is indeed a non-citizen cannot vote. Virginia's Attorney General, though, telling Fox the Commonwealth is being wrongly targeted for upholding a law previously followed by Democratic predecessors.
These are individuals that voluntarily, on their own, identify as non-citizens. And essentially what they're asking us to do, what the Department of Justice is asking us to do, is to ignore Virginia law.
So while state officials in Virginia appeal, another state also dealing with voting controversy, a conservative U.S. appeals court has ruled against a Mississippi law which allowed election officials to count mail-in ballots which are postmarked by Election Day but arrive after. The ruling sends the issue back to a lower court for further consideration. Ultimately, the matter could be headed for the Supreme Court. And over in battleground Pennsylvania, a criminal investigation is underway after election officials flagged about 2,500 voter registration forms for potential fraud. Griff.
Oh boy, you know you're in the political season with so many things to sort out. CB Cotton, thank you. Molly?
And that is the goal, to sort it all out. We are going to talk about Pennsylvania, but I want to start with Virginia, and let's bring in Fox News contributor Andrew McCarthy on what is happening there. So this is pretty interesting, this executive order, a big pushback. The argument, the judge is pushing back on this by essentially saying that the process has resulted in eligible voters having their voter registration flagged as part of this effort. What do you say to that concern that's being weighed by the opponents of what Youngkin and also the Attorney General Jason Miyares has tried to do?
Yeah, I think it's very incomplete. And first of all, they're calling it a systematic change, which is what you're not supposed to be able to do within 90 days. But actually, all of this is being done on a case-by-case basis. And I think the important things here are that in Virginia, under the law, if you have been flagged or suspected of not being an American citizen, if you're willing to sign an attestation under oath that you're an American citizen,